My original plan for this run was to do a fist-only run, and I did start doing so. I got relatively far in before I realised something. I was bored. This run felt like a rehash of my Switchblade-only run, though instead of a metal toothpick of death, I was using my meat clubs of mayhem. And to be frank, I was constantly disassociating whilst playing, and I figured I needed a better idea. Maybe I'll stick with the fist run in the future, but for now I need something with a bit more oomph. As is usual, when I exhausted vanilla options for playing Fallout 4, I turned to the mod scene to see if there was anything there that could spice things up a little, and I saw that crossbow mod I'd been messing with a while back. I then wondered how viable would it be to go through the game with my only weapon being a crossbow. I then remembered that I had that exact same thought last time I saw the mod, but this time I'm actually gonna, act on it. Let's see exactly how viable this crossbow mod by the creator Tricky Vein, brilliant name by the way, is for a run of Fallout 4. First, we lay out the ground rules. The only weapon I'm allowed to use for the entire game is a crossbow, and any enemies I defeat must be dispatched with said crossbow. Until I get a hold of one, I cannot attack. Once again, no companions, but NPCs who need to be there for a part of a story quest are fine, but I must do as much of the damage as possible. Yeah, we've done this rule before, you know this rule. The game will start at normal difficulty, but this can change to better support the run. If it's too easy, the difficulty will be raised, and if it's too hard, then the difficulty will be lowered. I just hope that second one doesn't happen, because that would feel really cheap. And finally, the challenge is officially over with the completion of either the Nuclear Family or Nuclear Option quest. All pretty standard and obvious, really, but with all that said and sorted, we can get started. Can I beat Fallout 4 using only a crossbow? So we start a new game and I create a new character. You'll notice this time I haven't got these same iMods and stuff installed because I uninstalled them. I'm going to level with you, I actually don't remember why I uninstalled them. I think I had a good reason at the time of doing it, but I don't remember. After a while I settled on a look that I'm kind of happy with. I like this well enough, and I head to the living room and sit my ass down on that chair in the corner and just wait for the game to do stuff. God, this bit is tedious. Say what you will about Fallout 3's intro, at least you get to do stuff. Eventually, the Vault-Tec dude shows up and I can finish creating my character. I named myself Robin because it's a nice name. I couldn't think of a funny little gag name to work with this time. Doesn't really matter. And then I set my stats. They're mostly balanced out this time, to be honest. I put a couple of extra points onto Charisma for a better chance to convince people through dialogue, because the last few times I've done this, I've had abysmal luck with that. I give him a pat on the bum and send him on his way, and, well, let's face it, you know what happens from this point forward, don't you? I'm gonna just skip ahead to the vault, because literally nothing of value is going to take place between now and then. It is very easy to forget just how much faffing around there is in the early bit of this game. Anyway, we escape our cryopod and make our way through the vault. Obviously, I can't kill the rad roaches again, so it's yet another game of running back and forth trying to get the little fuckers to stay on one side of the door. Although this time, it goes a lot better than before. Maybe it's all that practice. Like, seriously, it was actually pretty easy to get them to group up and stay where they were supposed to, which, you know, is great. It meant less fucking around in the vault. Obviously, I loot the Overseer's office for everything that isn't nailed down, except I do leave the gun because, again, that gun will auto-equip to you when you pick it up, and I don't want that to happen. Once again, getting past all the rad roaches was going well. Perhaps a little too well. This was going far smoother than I think it should be. I am fully convinced the game is getting ready to fuck me in a more spectacular way later. Though, little did I know, I'd already been kinda fucked, I just hadn't realised it yet. Once I seal the rad roaches away, I get the Pip-Boy and I can leave the vault. Once I get out of the vault, I make my way towards Sanctuary to do some looting, and I'm also kind of planning out my approach. Obviously I can't just look up the wiki to where to get a crossbow from because it's not in the base game. I figured I could craft one at the chemistry station because I'm pretty sure this is the mod that lets you do that. I didn't realise it's not, but I can craft crossbow ammo here, which is handy enough, but I would still need the actual crossbow to make any of it worthwhile. I then had a worrying thought. Some modders are quite professional and understand game balance, so that when they mod a powerful weapon into the game, a lot of them will make them so they only start appearing for higher leveled characters. I then asked, oh fuck, what if this mod did that? So I opened the mod page to have a little bit of a look, and level 5. They don't start appearing until you're level 5. Well, bollocks. Now, for a lesser being, this would be a demoralising end to the challenge before it really begun, but I am the goddess of video games. I'm not, I'm just an idiot who's kind of stubborn and didn't want to be defeated so soon. If it was going to take me getting to level 5, then I guess I had to get to level 5, without killing anything. Doable, but kind of a pain. As I approach the Red Rocket truck stop and greet the dog, I have a bit of an idea. See, you can get quite a decent amount of XP from building. You probably know that. I probably didn't need to remind you that, but you can. And I was kind of sick of having to go back and forth to buy supplies when I could just set up a settlement in one place, make it my home and my storage, and buy supplies from here. So yep, that's what's happening. Not only is this a crossbow run, it's also a building a settlement on the side run. As I'm setting up my primary workshop in the garage of the Red Rocket truck stop, I hear the dog going nuts outside because, well, the mole rats are attacking, as they always do. But there's nothing I can do about it. I just have to let him deal with them. He's not my companion at the moment, so I won't get any XP for the kills. I just have to sort of sit there and cheer him on. And by sit there, I mean hurriedly build a ladder, get onto the roof, and then hide up there until it's all over. This does give me a chance to plan out my generator placement. I like to place them on the roof of the Red Rocket truck stop to directly feed power inside the building through the whole conduit thingies you can stick on the floor. Although I want to build a windmill generator because it's less noisy and I like how it looks. And I don't have the parts for that yet, so that's going to have to wait. After some more rearranging and setting up my bedroom as well as Dogmeat's crib, he's got to have a doghouse because he is the goodest of boys, I wander out looking for some more supplies. I then realise I'm still technically in combat. Turns out one of the ratties got very confused by my hiding on the roof. The music's still going, but the rat is nowhere in sight. It's going to jump out at me at any moment, and I just have to run back to the Red Rocket truck stop when that happens and hope Dogmeat deals with it for me. Once I hear it emerge, I immediately start running back towards the Red Rocket. After all, I can't attack it. I'm not allowed to by the rules of the challenge. I mean, I will fully admit this does feel kind of cheap. It does feel like I'm only just circumventing the rules because Dogmeat is not currently a companion, so if he does kill any enemies, it's on him. I don't get any XP for it. I don't benefit from it other than the fact that the enemy is out of the way, but like, you know, if you think this is too cheap, let me know in the comments. If I had just bothered to read exactly what level that crossbow appeared at, I might have planned this a little bit better. Hell, I could have just done work in Sanctuary. There are enemies in Sanctuary, sure, but you don't have to actually interact with them. I am glad that Dogmeat killed that rad stag though, because their meat is very good. I do a bit more decorating in the Red Rocket truck stop before quickly heading to Sanctuary Hills to pick up a few extra parts lying around so I can build that generator I wanted to build. I also sneak inside my house to pick up the Grognak book, as well as the Your Special book. I know I'm not doing a melee weapons run, so the Grognak book is not exactly useful. I mean, maybe it will help with weapon bashing, I don't know. But hey, it's a cool comic book. With the additional point you get from the Your Special book, I put it onto Intelligence because that ties directly to how much XP you get, and obviously I'm gonna need a bit of an XP boost right now. With those extra parts in hand, I head back to Red Rocket and set up my new windmill generator. Hooray! Again, I just like how it looks. I prefer it to the noisy generators. That's what the generators sound like. Whilst building, I hit level 2. And then kind of just keep building because I think to myself, oh, I'll deal with that in a minute. I then forget for quite a while. I do a little bit more building to try and make my settlement look nice. You can't just build a functional settlement, you have to build one that you like the look of, that's the rule. I make a quick trip back to Sanctuary simply to grab the watermelons and the gourds that you can farm because I don't have any vegetables to plant. After I'm done setting up what has to be the most boring garden in the wasteland, I head to the roof to set up a settlement recruitment beacon. Now all I've got to do is build some houses and play the waiting game. I then realised that my very first settlers are going to have to go towards defence and farming because I'm not building turrets this time, partly because they're noisy fuckers, but mostly it's the whole challenge thing. If I build guns to shoot things when I'm not around, and it feels cheap to me. It feels too cheap even for my particularly cheap ass. And on top of that, I'm not even going to be able to build any shops yet because I need 2 separate charisma perks that I don't even have enough charisma to get yet. Still, at least my settlement is coming along nicely, so all the foundation is in place. I just need to get the perks, really. I am very sorry for making you sit through so much of this. If I'd bothered to read the description of the mod, I would have known, and I could have maybe planned around it. After a night of building, I head out for some more supplies. There's that whole pump thing nearby that you can stop to get some caps out of a nearby storage thing. And on my way back, I'm attacked by mole rats, so I have to just sprint, you know, like a coward. I'm gonna be honest, these first 2 hours were very much just me wandering around looting nearby places for scrap. But there were some highlights. A couple of settlers arrived at the Red Rocket and I made them a farmer and a guard respectively. I found a half suit of T45 power armor that I took for myself. I wandered up to 10 Pines Buff and accepted their raider quest. Not that I can actually do it yet, but hey, it's ready when I am. I also stole a bunch of their crops, though they didn't seem to give a fuck, and I snuck away before some muties showed up. I also went to that ranger cabin to get that Wasteland Survival Guide issue, but you don't care. During some more building between all of this, I noticed I'd accidentally myself to level 4, that I'd somehow missed this until now, so I guess it's time to take some perks before I forget for another 2 hours. I take the first rank of Rifleman, of Medic, and of Sneak, because they seem like they'll be the most helpful. After even more fucking about crafting, because that's apparently what I do now, I finally decide to actually play a bit more of the game. I decide I'll head to Trudy's shop and do that quest. This time I'm utterly determined to end things peacefully. I have no alternatives at this point. If things go violently, all I can do is reload the game until they don't go violently. And this takes time.
Well, he ain't getting his money. Period.
Look, you owe them money. If you just pay them, I got a better idea.
Yeah, this took many tries. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was getting a little bit stressed, so much so that I kind of just wandered over to Lexington to just stop trying this for a couple of minutes, because I was like, fuck's sake, woman, will you just let this end peacefully? Jesus Christ. I got to loot some pre-war money though, so, you know, it's all good. I travelled back and said to myself, 3 more tries, and I just give up entirely, walk away, fuck this entire trading post. So the first time, it doesn't work again, she refuses to go peacefully, but the second time, I see the little vault boy doing his yay, you won thing, and oh god. I don't know what that noise was, that was like halfway between relief and an orgasm, but like, that was kind of the noise I made when it finally worked, and she finally just paid Wolfgang the money. Now I had 2 vendors, I wouldn't have to hear the I can rest easy, but Wolfgang thing in hell thing.
I can rest easy knowing that Wolfgang is rotten in hell.
Once Trudy was finally a vendor, I sold off all the ammo that wasn't bolts, because those are the only thing I'd need. I then pop outside to Wolfgang to, you know, finish the quest, and I hit level 5. I completely forget about the perk point again as I head home to get some sleep for the night to give Trudy's merch a chance to change in the hopes that a crossbow will appear. When I return the next day, the lovely trash can Carla is waiting for me outside the place. I met her earlier, nothing interesting happened, that's why you didn't see it. And guess what she has for Aunt Ronica? Yep, she's got a crossbow! Yay! I'm fully aware that was the gayest possible way I could have said that, but I stand by it. Oh, I also remembered to do my perk point. I take rank 2 of sneak. So finally, after like 2 hours and 15 minutes, I have the crossbow for the Crossbow Run. Jesus cow buggering Christ, was that annoying. I waste no time and head straight to Concord to get my murder on. The crossbow is a reasonably powerful weapon, though it does have a long reload between shots, as you can expect. Obviously, this is something it shares with the laser musket. Its shots can be relatively powerful, but obviously you've got a crank between each one. Of course, with the crossbow, I'm not going to have to crank it multiple times to get the most powerful shot, and there's a chance that you can recover some of your bolts after you fire them, which is nice. It also doesn't look like shit. Inside the Museum of Freedom, I get to really put the weapon to the test. As I say, it's reasonably powerful, nice and accurate, even if I am not accurate, so I feel like I'm not doing it a service here. But it does feel good to finally be able to be in combat with my weapon. Yeah, I probably could have just bashed that one, couldn't I? With my crossbow in hand, I make short work of all the raiders inside the museum, and I finally reach everyone's favourite character, Preston Garvey. Oh god, why am I here? Well, I know why I'm here. See, I really want to try the crossbow against the Deathclaw, and this is the quickest way to do that. So I agree to help them, I get the fusion core and head to the roof. I also picked up the perception bobblehead while I was here. With what is my second suit of power armor now, seriously, these things litter the Commonwealth like nobody's business, I start taking out the raiders. Easy enough. Though I notice my shoulder kind of appears for a split second when I aim down the sights. Sort of weird. Soon enough though, Jimmy Cuddles enters the field and we engage in a mighty battle. A dead Deathclaw and a level up, life has never been sweeter. I take the first rank of Gun Nut, then proceed to mop up the remaining raiders, the raiders if you will, you won't, and then I report to Preston. Afterwards I head off home, I drop off the second power armor frame, and scrap the weapons that I wasn't gonna need, though I saved a laser musket for the town guard. He's gonna need something better than a perturbed pipe if we get attacked by super mutants. Afterwards I name my new favourite toy, as is tradition. I then pop back to Trudy to sell off all the ammo I don't need and hopefully buy some I do. She doesn't have any bolts, the bitch. I then head into Lexington properly to get into some combat. I destroyed a turret easy enough, but as I try to take out old Nicky the Nuke here, he decides that I need to die extra hard and, well, yeah, you know what happens. I am impressed though, I managed to avoid dying until I was armed and able to defend myself, although standing in front of a nuke definitely didn't help. Once I reincarnate, I sneak through the back alley this time to try and avoid being atomized and run into the usual ghouls. They're not too hard to take down as you can imagine, but something I wasn't really paying attention to was my ammo count. After taking out all the ghouls on the street, I noticed I was running a little low on bolts. I did try to be conservative with them, but as the empty 12 pack of Quavers in my bin that I bought yesterday will tell you, I am not good at moderation. Luckily enough, I had just enough bolts for the raider up top, the rest of the ghouls in the apartment here, and the power armored dude. I used my last bolt on one of the other raiders, and then I just beat their friend to death. It seemed like the easiest thing to do. Oh yeah, there was like a third one. I completely missed them. I quickly popped back to the diner to set off all the shiz I don't need, then I decided to loot the nearby Starlight Drive-In for anything useful. I also used this opportunity to slay some mole rats because, like, I finally could now. Once done there, I return home to craft some more bolts and upgrade my armour a tad, then it's back to Lexington so I could assault the Cavera plant and take out those raiders who are giving 10 Pines Buff all that grief. The raiders in the plant aren't too much to worry about, a single bolt is usually enough to take them down, and most of them are so weak that I could just insta-kill them with a bash. Even the big boss ain't much to worry about. What, can't take 2 steel-tipped crossbow bolts to the face? Ha, you loser. Don't worry, I'm embarrassed I missed that second shot as well. As I clear out the remaining raiders, I hit level 7, though it's going to have to wait for a minute because I'm kinda stuck in combat. Once I'm done murdering all the bad guys, I throw the new perk point onto Charisma. I'm so fucking sick of failing speech checks, and this will help. Also, I need like 2 ranks of local leader later for settlement shit, and they require the extra likability. Whilst looting the place, I managed to over-encumber myself like a genius, so I take a hit of the drugs to be able to lift everything. I quickly pop back home to drop off the 9 tons of material I was lugging around when one of my settlers pulls a Preston and tells me a nearby location needs my help. After a bit more armour upgrading and planting some fresh tato, which I only just learned was a cross between tomatoes and potatoes, so that's kinda neat, I head back to 10 Pines to report my success. They thank me, pay me, give me access to their workshop, and for now, my lovelies, this is where we're gonna end it. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I am incredibly sorry it took until nearly halfway fucking through to get the crossbow. I didn't put much forethought into this, I fully admit. Next time, it'll be a lot more crossbow focused, I promise. I hope. It should be, I can't imagine why it wouldn't be. Anyway, if you made it this far, tell me what your favourite weapon mod for Fallout 4 is in the comments. I would like to look them up. It should be fun. Anyway, I do hope you had fun here today. We will see you next time. Hopefully next week I'll have the second part of this series out, although chances are I won't, because I'm also working on my review next week. You know, I won't promise a date, we'll just see what happens. We'll see you next time, my lovelies. Take care. Bye-bye.
It's all over but the crying, and I can't get over crying.